everybody back to our first face-to-face meeting of the Parish Council. It's a bit strange, we're all very spread out, not how we're used to being, but we have done a risk assessment here. We have got the right number of chairs for the right number of people that need to be in here. We've got our windows open. You should have sanitised when you came in, so hopefully we're going to be as safe as we possibly can be at the moment. And you'll see that we've got a camera running, so we are still recording the proceedings here this evening, and they will be on our website so that our residents can see it as usual. We think that that was quite a good idea, and we'll keep it going and review it probably in September time to see how things have worked out. So I'd like to start off by welcoming two councillors, Councillor Broomfield and Councillor Parker-Jones, our newly elected county councillors and borough councillor. Lou, would you like to introduce yourself in case people don't know who you are?
Absolutely. Hello everybody, please call me Lou. I've been elected for the Bishopstoke and Fair Oak ward, so my patch, if you like, covers Proud Hill, Mortimer's Lane, Fair Oak shops, all the way down to the sort of main traffic lights. And I'm very new to Hampshire. This is the first time I've been elected to them. I have been the borough councillor for a little while. I have written a report which I write for the Bishopstoke Parish Council generally, and it gives a summary of everything I've done over the last couple of months, and I've sent it to your clerk, and I hope that she will circulate it to you all. If ever there's anything on there that you would like extra information about, I'm happy to come and talk about any of it. Some of the things you'll want to be aware of is that Hampshire County Council is currently out of consultation on its budgets, and they're looking to make huge savings, which means huge potential, cuts or changes or payments for service. So I would encourage everybody to go and have a look at that consultation and feedback your views. And I've given a link to that in my report, so when you see it, have a look. And it's just really nice to meet you all. So I'm based in Bishopstoke, but I will come out here and talk to everybody or help wherever I can. So that's me. If there's anything like that, I'm happy to answer anything. I do know I don't know everybody.
Okay, well we'll introduce ourselves very shortly, so thank you very much, Lou, for that. So Councillor Broomfield.
Thank you. Steve Broomfield, I'm the County Councillor for West End and Auburn Heath. So basically I've covered everything from the Southern Way traffic lights back coming this way. So basically the football grounds estate, Southern Way estate, Auburn Heath, and then through to the nether reaches of West End North. I'm also the Borough Councillor for Fair Oak and Auburn Heath. Also newly elected, so that's effectively Auburn Heath plus Fair Oak, about as far as the Bishopstoke boundary. I'm less organised than the read, so I don't write long reports. I don't even write short reports. I tend to keep everything on my Facebook page, Councillor Steve Broomfield, so you can follow me there, or on the local Facebook groups for Bishopstoke, Fair Oak and Auburn Heath. Obviously my contact details are on both the EC and Hampshire County Council websites. I try and respond as quick as I can to any queries. And the other thing I will do is stop and speak to anybody in the street who makes eye contact with me. So if you want to chat, just stop me. I've been walking around the rest of the road Fair Oak with my dogs or something during the next few days. So just stop, say hello to the dogs and talk to me. Thank you.
Thanks very much. So we're going to just do a roll call now for the benefit of the people who might be watching at home later. I'll start with me and we'll go this way around the room. So I'm Helen Douglas and I chair the Parish Council.
I'm Stevens, I'm the clerk of the Parish Council.
I'm in Greenstead, I'm the deputy clerk.
I'm Trudy Higby, I'm a councillor.
I'm Scott Anderson, I'm a councillor.
I'm Christina Forfar and I'm a councillor.
This is Scott, I'm a councillor. I'm McGinnis, I'm a councillor. I'm Trevor Wignott, I'm a councillor.
Andy Cooley, I'm not a councillor.
Colin Bird, also a councillor.
Thank you. And we have
Councillors Anonymous.
and we have apologies from Councillors Marsh, Borrello, Tennant and Speary this evening. We also have Joe Carhill, our Finance Officer, and Martin, our Operations Manager, online. And we're very pleased to welcome Dawn Errington as well, who is sitting patiently waiting for us to get her slot. She's a senior planner from EBC. She's going to talk to us about 1 Horton, and she's live on Teams for us. So before we get to Dawn, we do just need to do a couple of official things. The minutes of the last meeting, are they an accurate record of what was said? It's May the 4th, 2021. Thank you. And the seconder? Thank you very much. All in favour? And we are, thank you. And just noting the planning decisions from April the 16th, May the 7th and 28th. Did anyone want to say anything about those? Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest this evening that anyone needs to make? Lovely.
I live near the skate park, so I don't know if that's a declaration of interest that I need to.
Yes, yes it is. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're here to look this evening at the land west of Burnet's Lane, 1 Horton. Dawn has got a presentation for us. It's already been circulated. I think you've got one of these sitting on your chair, Dawn's presentation.
I'm photographed with a few, Chair.
Oh, there's a few, okay, right.
I'm more than happy to turn my screen round and share the presentation on the screen. I know it's really small, but we can circulate it to all councillors have seen a copy that has been circulated to you.
Yes, yes. We're back in the situation pre-COVID where we've been muttering about having better IT equipment here for meetings and planning. Dawn, I'm so sorry that you're very little on our screen, but anyway, we'll hand over to Dawn. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you, Chair. Now, firstly, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, thank you.
I'm difficult to hear you, but can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Dawn.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I sent it's just this PowerPoint round because it puts the key plans for both applications in one place, because it's I appreciate quite difficult to sort of find all those on our very large files. So I'm filling your hand today. I'm happy to go through those, as quickly as I can. Is that your preference? I just run through the slides and then you have questions, or do you feel that you've had a chance to look at those?
I'm just going to ask the council, Dawn. We have all had this before. Do we want Dawn to just run through it very quickly, or just outline any changes that we're here to discuss? How do you feel?
I think the changes would be helpful, Chair.
Yeah, I agree.
Dawn, are you able to talk about the changes, please?
Yeah, I probably do need to, I will do that. It probably does mean I have to talk about the main content as well, just to put it in context.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, starting with the outline application, if you want to flick through onto the first plan slide, which is the master plan, that just sets, that outlines literally all that is the main aspects of the outline application. So that's the up to 2,500 houses, the 35% affordable, the local centre, the school, employment uses, open space. In terms of the changes since we consulted you in January, we no significant changes to the content of the application or the master plan itself. Some minor tweaks around the red lines, but nothing significant, I would say, in terms of the update. Some of the reports and information for Constantine has been updated, but overall it is large, as you saw it in January, in terms of the uses proposed and where they are. So just moving on to the next plan, concept master plan, so that details pretty much all the uses in colour, about 400 really coloured. The real changes really, some minor tweaks on that plan that you probably might pick up. For example, the primary school is now shown on the west of the school site in indicatively rather than on the east side, so further away from residence boundaries. So the primary school site is, you can see the middle of this as we don't know, the solar farms in the middle of the site, that's outside the recreation site, and immediately to the top right of that is a green area with a white building, that's the school site, and that's the school building in white. So that there's a change there on that concept plan to indicatively show the school in on the west side of the site rather than the east. Some other change really up in the top left corner, you'll see the red line now includes the ecological mitigation area, which has been largely delivered as part of the access roads. That's gone in for Anton Lane there, but it's been included because of some of the considerations we've got in terms of ecological mitigation and great Western use up there, and maybe the conditions that we would need to put on. So that's the change to the red line plan. If we want to move to the next plan.
What slide number 2?
If you want to move to the land use parameter plan, there's no real change to the land, it's headline land uses, so no change to that. That was literally lots of colours showing different land uses. The next plan, green infrastructure parameter plan, then largely as we saw in January, some hedges have been added which were missed out. So some adjustment to that to accurately reflect what's on the site. And then largely the same. Then moving on to the next plan, the access parameter plan. This shows the vehicular accesses to the site and the existing public rights of way. It doesn't show in detail proposed footpaths and cycle links. As you will be aware, the Fir Tree Lane is proposed to be, the western edge of it is supposed to be downgraded to right-of-way status or similar. So that's still shown on the parameter plan. There has been some discussion about adding right-of-ways within the site, and so you'll see further down where the Child Farm access is existing, that's got right-of-way provision in there now, as has the Fir Tree Lane right-of-way, and that's following discussions with the British Horse Society to just make some provision for right-of-ways on the site. So that is a change to that plan. Moving on to the next plan, building heights. Yes, you will see a change there because on the original outline plans when they came in, they had 3 landmark buildings. So that's the Red Star, one at the bottom of the site at the southern entrance, one near the top at the northern entrance, and then one at the local centre. And they were to be up to 6-storey buildings. That has changed, so the 2 at the bottom and the top of the site were taken out, and just the local centre, taller building remaining as a landmark building. Some subtle changes in some of the text, and I think we might ask you to get it put back in again, but I think just for clarification really, you see the different colours are, on the key there for different maximum heights of buildings. So you've got the yellow is up to 2.5-storey, and then between the orange, you've got 3-storey, and then 4-storey, the orange. And I think we will ask for some further clarification on what we would put it in a report. That doesn't mean the whole of that site is covered in 4-storey or 3-storey. buildings, it is just a maximum height for individual buildings, and as we've seen in the, you'll see shortly in the detailed application, that doesn't mean the whole site. We did have that clarification previously on the last road we put on again. Apart from that, there's no real change to that, so the landmark building is an important change. The open space strategy hasn't been updated other than I've said, we reference hedges now, so that's largely as previously. The master plan character areas are as previously, there's no change to them. So the outline has 7 residential areas that are identified as different character formation, as well as the Cloudpot Farm and Furtry Farm complexes, and the local centre employment uses. The next slides are around the design code. We've had some further indicative sketches submitted, which perhaps bring to life a bit some of the information that we would expect to see in a supporting design code, which gives an indicative form of how, in 3D, on how parts of the site may be laid out. So this is, for example, the local centre, the square that we've talked about previously. So they are indicative. You can see the primary school at the bottom of that plan as well. So, but they do help visualise what is being suggested. And then the next one I've pulled out is from Cloudpot Farm rebuilding, which again distinctively shows a new farm square and village square with some mixed uses and a replacement farmhouse building in that complex, and obviously the common retained. They're not detailed plans, they're just, as I said, trying to bring to life a bit more what is being suggested in the documents. But yeah, they do help you visualise what may happen there. So that's the outline. The updates in terms of changes. Obviously we've got the detailed application as well, which is now for 381 units, so it's reduced from 393 as originally submitted. We've had a lot of discussion on, as we'd expect, on design and layout, and the result of that is we've had plan changes, and actually are expecting a few more this week in terms of some of the fine detail. So what's resulted in those changes is actually a reduction from 6-storey to 4-storey of the southern gateway building, so that's some reduced units, some redesign of other flatted units, an improvement on things like garden sizes across the site, and addressing things like daylighting issues and some privacy issues that we raised. So a combination of that has resulted in a reduced number of units, still with 35% form, although we want to move on to the site layout plan, see the site layout in more detail. So this is a revised plan that's come in. Some of the particularly has changed quite a lot. It's now a curved brick building with a green wall on it, and a couple of other buildings with green walls as well. So that's a new concept that we very recently had introduced. The central open space report for the acre is pretty much the same, sideways moved from the centre to the site to have more usable open space within that area. We've had, as I said, some changes to siting and layout to improve things like gardens, and we've got a slightly larger second green space up in the northwest area. It's in the middle of that site. There's a big tree shown in the middle of it, but there's a square there, which is now car-free and has been improved. So that's sort of a summary of the changes that I've moved through the character areas. Just they haven't changed really in terms of what they're called and the areas they cover. So just as a reminder, we've got this series of character areas which are different design approaches from different parts of the site. Still largely the concept is for dwellings fronting the avenue and the main cycleways, cycle greenway, particularly which lead up to the local centre, to have car-free frontages. So the cycle, so that you've got cars crossing cycle paths, but that means they've got rear accesses and rear parking. So that concept is, is a key concept for the whole this development really. Slightly diluted in places, but that is the main concept that has stayed throughout. But we have seen some improvements to the rear servicing and access parking provision, which we were a bit concerned about, just for practical reasons. So there are some changes in terms of the layout for that. So moving on to, I've just put in the presentation some visuals really, which show there's some parts of the site. So this is the avenue. We've had more 3D and coloured information come in, which is I think helpful to see how it would look. This is the avenue is literally an avenue, so trees on either side, and we are hoping that it can be designed to be a 30-mile-an-hour road. With a strong building frontage along it to close it. So that's again visuals and photo montage of the avenue, and then moving down to the acre. Similarly, a strong frontage hopefully onto the acre, the main public open space. Typically the development on the west side of it, so directly overlooks it. The profits, I think there was a lot of discussion at the neighbourhood forum about. There's been some tweaks to the designs and particularly layout, just for practical reasons for servicing and parking and making it work better. Largely, the concept hasn't changed. So you've got these where you've got existing houses on Burnet's Lane on slightly higher level, overlooking the site. Their view out is through the gaps between the dwellings. So we've got this series of side roads called the Rapids, which were specifically designed so that the adjoining existing houses would look through the middle of them rather than directly directly into the houses. So that concept hasn't changed, but that would be some minor changes to the layout, as I've said. And the cycle greenway, quite a lot of discussion about it, but we've largely not changed the concept of having a safe cycleway which isn't crossed by cars, has been retained. So albeit with some consequences for parking in the rear, there are more details around the rain gardens, which you can see in the visual there, so that they provide the sustainable drainage for the development. Or part of the system of sustainable drainage, so that there's been more information submitted for that, which is a fairly new concept that we're looking at. And then finally, Chalcroft Tolls is development overlooking the northern sort of open area to the north, overlooking what is the existing access track to Chalcroft Farm. The area to the north is wet. that has all been included in the red line of the application so that we can put appropriate controls and conditions on it. So there have been some design changes to the sustainable drainage in that area. I don't think the ponds will quite like that visual. I hope it doesn't. They're quite supple. And obviously get wet at times. In the winter, very wet, and then can dry out in the summer. There was a suggestion that those green areas can also be used as public open space. I think that is a seasonal thing, and we certainly see some more drainage going in as in the last few months as the engineers have done more work on that the drainage strategy for the site. But the dwellings themselves haven't changed. That concept hasn't changed. And then the Southern Gateway is obviously a significant change since January. So in January we had a 6-story electric building proposed, which did have a lot of comment on it and largely wasn't accepted locally or by our design team. So that's had a complete rethink. I think there's very many ways that you could design a gateway building, and we have to consider what was obviously proposed rather than what we might otherwise suggest. But we discussed the curved building. I think that is a good concept. So recently, and we did suggest looking at green walls. So the comments have been taken on board. Now looking at the detail of the green wall and just about to get more information in. It's quite a significant design factor. So this is a flat roof building at 4-story height, and the adjoining building is 3-story, and we've got other 4- and 3-story buildings in this locality. So it's definitely a new concept, and it's something you want to consider. It's still brick outside of the big wall structure, and I think the concept, the applicant is very keen not to have cladding or other materials, but we're actually still looking at the materials and that. So I think it's a discussion that's ongoing to come to that fine detail of it. But that's the main visual for that building. And then we've now also, since January, had some actual screen scene information submitted, which again brings the plans to life a bit more, although you won't see the screen scenes since obviously it's a very long stretch, but as you perhaps drive or cycle up the avenue, the top drawing, that's what you'd experience. Similarly, the chapel told us the lower building, that's as you, the route from left to right is as you would leave Burnett's Lane along the existing farm track to Chapel Farm, moving along to where you reach the new distributor road running through the site. I think it gives you an idea of the scale of the site as well. But also they've shown, obviously, in these visuals, things like, it is accurate, it's, obviously I can't see it at the moment, but things like boundary treatments, trees, and landscape treatment. So it's an accurate picture of what you would expect to see. Just talking about landscape and trees, we've had a lot of discussion and quite a lot of amendment in terms of trees and landscaping, and a significant increase in the number of trees in the right locations so that they can guarantee to stay. So we have now up to over 650 trees just on this part of the site, new trees. Building heights, that plan has changed to reflect the change, particularly the Southern Gateway. I'm sorry, the plan I sent around in my PowerPoint essentially was missing some details. So where the Southern Gateway is, that's 4-story buildings, 4- and 3-story buildings. That colour was missing, and then the parking strategy hasn't changed in terms of the distribution of allocated and unallocated parking since first. It's just changed because the number of units has changed, so the number of spaces has adjusted as a result of that. In terms of process, I can probably talk about that in a minute, but just to say that the committee date is definite at the moment, so I can talk about that in a minute. We're still obviously waiting for consultation responses to come back, so we're waiting to see the response on the amended plans before we confirm the date. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dawn, for running us through all the changes to that plan. It's really helpful. So, councillors, have you got any questions, please, for Dawn? Okay, well, I'll start off, Dawn, because... Oh, Councillor Bird.
I just wondered whether the difficulties with barley fields have been resolved. There is a note about that in the detail, but it's unclear whether it's concluded.
Yes, Dawn, we had a lot of complaints from the residents of Barley Fields about the proximity of buildings and the lack of screening for them. Can you just update us on that one, please?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I should have missed that out in the update. Yes, we had comments, and obviously officers made comments too about the unique relationship in Barley Fields with the site. There's been some sketch plans submitted by the applicants, which show indicatively how development adjacent may be sited. I'm not sure how helpful it is, to be honest, but there are sketch plans in the application details now. Effectively, it remains a matter that the reserve matters, if outbound permission were granted, would consider in detail. But I think it was trying to be helpful to show that you could have a different, there are options for arranging dwellings which can maximise the immediate retention community or not, depending on which plan you look at. So clearly I'd expect, the preference expressed in terms of what the better arrangement might be if dwellings were sited adjacent to them.
Okay, so we need to...
But it would be a reserve method detail, really, for discussion at that time.
We'll make a note of that to make sure that doesn't pass us by, because we were very anxious about those people. So thank you for that question.
Yeah, so I'm sorry I missed that. We shouldn't have done, but yes, if you look, I'm happy to send you those barley field sketches or link to them if that's helpful.
Yes, that would be. Thank you. And can I just clarify Fir Tree Lane? Because originally Fir Tree Lane was going to be closed as a road, and now it seems to be open at the top end, going down to the village centre, and I'm just a bit anxious about the width of that carriageway, and I haven't seen anything yet that tells me how that's going to be addressed, because there are houses very close to either side of Fir Tree Lane.
Yeah, there are some additional highways plans submitted. I'm told, and obviously we're obviously waiting for a full response from Hampshire County Council on the amended plans, but that that eastern end remains open for traffic until you get to the local centre effectively. That it is wide enough and will have a footway added as well. It's wide enough for a footway as well as the carriageway for vehicles. So there are plans. I can send those to you as well.
Yes, please, because residents of Fir Tree Lane and Angelica Gardens and Fir Tree Close are very anxious about that one.
Yeah, so obviously you have to get traffic into the site, and that is the access in at that point. But that's it. Yes, it has been looked at in detail.
Okay, can you just reassure us about all these play areas, Dawn, through the entire site, not just the bit that we're looking at today? Because this council worries tremendously that these play areas will come to us and we're going to be left with lots and lots of tiny little play areas dotted around, which cost us a lot of money, and they will all cost us a lot of money pretty much at the same time to replace and renew. And we don't want duplicate stuff. And I think lots of parents who might be watching or have experience of taking children to play areas they like quite a lot of variety of equipment. A small area with just a swing and a seesaw is not good enough.
Yes, so unfortunately some of our planning policies ask us directly to do that. So right from early on, we had a discussion about the open space strategy, and there's an open space strategy for the site that we obviously want to make sure enough play provision was provided, but to have literally a strategy that didn't result in new, very small play areas or with the same equipment, as you say. That's not, there's an opportunity here to do something different and better on a site this size. So you'll see the strategy does have for example, the local centre is a key play destination, so that would have, a large play area which caters for all ages, and then around the green infrastructure, so largely the edges of the site, or where you've got large areas of open space, for example, that we've seen in that first detailed parcel, there will be strategically sited play, and the concept is to design play to reflect the character of the area. So perhaps we've got more rural edges, then there'll be more rural play, whereas if you've got the equipment that reflects that, whereas where you've got for example at the local centres, more urban centre, you'd have a different type of play and equipment. It is in the open space strategy, so
and we have commented that. We have commented on that informally, but we will be making more comments, I'm sure. Can I check, has the environmental impact assessment come yet?
Yes, so that's part of the submission. So the environmental impact assessment is our assessment, which is done as part of our report. So the environmental statement is what's submitted with the application, and it was this very large document with chapters covering subject areas that came in January and has been updated with an addendum at the end of May. And there's a technical summary as well, because it is very much an environmental impact assessment document, so it is worded in the way that you have to consider environmental impacts, but it is all in, and the key reason why we've gone to extensive pre-consultation, because it's an updated environmental statement. But largely it's a series of reports you'd expect to see on any major application covering different subject matters. It's just a slightly different way of assessing impact than perhaps you see normally. But yes, it's all there.
Lovely, thank you, Dawn. Now, you will know that Ferrick and Horton Heath Parish Council objected very strongly to this entire concept of One Horton, but because it was going to happen, we've engaged as much as we possibly can, so that we're part of what's happening, and it can be the very best that it can possibly be. So can we just have some assurances that the development is going to stick to those very first design codes about sustainability, about the greenways that were promised